So imagine with me a day when everything was okay, truly okay. Perhaps you were on vacation, lying on a beach, letting the waves and the sounds just bring you to that place of peace or total contentment, hiking on some beautiful trail. A day when all of the people around you are in a good mood, and you have this feeling of abundance, life overflowing with good. You have a job that you love, or maybe you're just loving retirement. Perhaps you've finally met that perfect partner, or you are feeling deeply connected to the one that you have. Let that feeling, just take a moment and let it flood over you. Now imagine what it would be like to live in that space all of the time. Open, relaxed, engaged, feeling secure. That is the invitation of this book, What's in the Way is the Way, by Mary O'Malley, that we're going to be using as a guide as we begin a new series this Sunday. So there may be another part of your brain thinking, well, that's just not possible. That's not realistic that we can live in that space all of the time. While there might be brief moments when everything in life seems to be flowing well, inevitably challenges will show up. We'll get sick. Some unexpected expenses will arise, putting a strain on our bank account. We'll get slammed with some kind of natural disaster, or the stock market goes into a steep decline and we start to worry about our future and our retirement. Perhaps totally beyond our control, someone that we love dies. Or even if we're doing well, others around us are experiencing a crisis that affects our feeling of well-being. And while it's probable that we will experience many of these kinds of events in our life at various times, it's also possible to meet all of those experiences in a new and perhaps different way, unclouded by fear or judgment, and infused with an abiding sense of ease, of trust, and openness to what even these difficulties might bring as gifts into our lives. So if you've ever been around a young child, I'm blessed to have two that are still young. When they're 1 or 2 or 3, you've probably observed how they can be happily playing in one moment, and then something happens. Another child takes their toy away, or they fall down and skin their knee, and all of a sudden, they become extremely upset. They are crying at full wail. And then after a few moments, as they work through that, they are back to happily playing, as if that event happened in that moment and is fully gone. Children innately live in this flow of life. They live in whatever that moment is bringing them. They live in what the author calls the meadow. The clouds in the sky will come and go. There's laughter, there's tears, and yet through it all, there is this underlying sense of peace. The peace that comes with being in whatever that moment is. And this, even though we've likely forgotten it, I know I have oftentimes, is our natural state of being. It's not to say that we won't have moments where we will be upset or we will be crying, but as we can just let those moments be in that moment and then let them go, they don't necessarily have to become a permanent part of our experience of life. You know, as we grow up, it seems like those clouds in the sky, they begin to get lower. They oftentimes will feel like they're just encircling us, surrounding us, so that we no longer see the meadow anymore. We struggle, and our sense of okayness gets clouded over. Our struggle is not in the challenges that show up. Rather, they come from what she calls the storyteller, what we might call the ego, what we might call the subconscious, whatever mind you want to give, or whatever name you want to give it. The storyteller that fills our mind and reminds us what we like and what we don't like, and what we should and what we shouldn't do, and what others should and shouldn't do. And when we get into that space, we feel a sense of being separate and alone, not only from each other, but from life itself. When our storyteller is in charge, life becomes a series of problems to be solved rather than an adventure to be lived. I want you to hear that. Kids don't worry about solving problems. They're just there in the moment. When we grow up, we often begin to engage in life as a series of problems that we need to figure out a solution to, rather than an adventure that we can meet regardless of what shows up. We become used to this constant struggle and believe that this is life. I don't know if you've ever said that. I know I've said that to this is just the way life is. You might as well get used to it. You're going to struggle sometimes, and just you got to buck up and move on when it's not going your way. And when we believe that this is the way life is, we live in this cloud of ideas about life rather than allowing ourselves to directly experience what's happening in it in this moment. We are reliving what's just happened. We are anticipating how we're going to solve something that might be coming up in the future, and we miss the gift that's present in the moment that we're awake to. So our journey over these next several weeks is to get to know our storyteller, to become aware of what that storyteller is informing us about life. And we do that with, interestingly enough, as our daily word reminds us, compassionate curiosity. Not the kind of curiosity where we're beating ourselves up and we have to figure it out, but just being open to discovering, through curiosity, what life might be like in this present moment. And to, as a result, experience the heart's ability to heal, especially to heal right where we are in that moment. You know, the mind, or what she's calling the storyteller, is an exquisite creation that has evolved over billions of years. We talked about this a lot earlier in the year. And it's a necessary tool to support us in maneuvering through life. If we had to be in the present moment to navigate walking and talking and all of the other things that we sort of do on automatic pilot, we wouldn't be able to do much. We'd be much more limited. Yet, this mind was not created to be in charge of life. It's there to support the life. It is a wonderful servant, but when we allow it to be our master, it leads us into experiences of life that don't serve us. And the more that we can learn how to use the mind rather than having it use us, we discover that okayness is our natural state. We rediscover what we knew when we were children, that this place of the present moment where we live is the very essence of our being. It's a journey of the heart, can't necessarily be solved in the mind. And it's a journey of the heart because that is the place that we can tap into wisdom and healing and love and find that sense of peace. It's a journey to discover that life is here for us. How many of you believe that? That life, all of nature, is conspiring for you, for your good, for you to discover and to live from a greater sense of your essence, which is love. How many of you believe that life is trustable, that you can trust life? Not so many hands go up on that. They're all like, I don't know about that. It may not always be likable. It may not always be fun. It may even not always be easy. Yet, as we learn to allow the very essence of life to flow through us, rather than trying to resist it or redirect it, or sometimes trying to hold on to it, we can move into that place where life becomes an adventure to be experienced. So as we move into a time of meditation, I'm just going to invite you, as you turn your attention inward, to see if you can't tap into that childlike trust and joy and peace and wisdom that is in this present moment for you. So I would just invite you right where you're at to be comfortable. Let your body relax into the chair that's supporting you. Close your eyes if that's comfortable, or just focus on some point in the room so that your attention is placed inward. Take a deep breath, because the breath is the very essence of the present moment. And as you let that breath go, let go of all the things that might be occupying your mind right now, things that happened this morning or that may be happening later today. Just let the breath bring you to this moment. And as you continue to just be aware and present with your breath, as it naturally and easily flows in and out of your body, See if you can't even imagine that breath is moving in and through your heart space. That place where our lungs are located, but also the place that is the very center of our own being, our connection with the divine that we call the heart. And see if you can't just relax into this moment, knowing that right now, no matter what's happening in your life, what's happening in our world, that you are okay. That you are held and loved and supported. That when you bring yourself into the present moment, there is wisdom that you can tap into. There is guidance for those next steps. There is love, unconditionally, for you as a beloved creation of the very source of love. Just rest in that for a minute. And if the mind tries to remind you of ways in which that might not be true in your recent past or what you anticipate the future might hold, just gently guide it back to the heart. This is your meadow. And you can live from this space every time you're aware of it. Every time you remind yourself that there is a space alive within you. That is okay. That is safe. That provides all the love or abundance or peace that you could ever seek. It's all right there, available to you in every moment. And I invite you to set your intention today to be awake to this space in your being, to this eternal place of life where you can trust that what's unfolding is for your good, is for your growth, is for an opportunity to know yourself as love in a richer way. And bring yourself to that place as often as you can. Take another deep breath with me. And as you begin to bring your attention back to the sounds in the room, to the awareness of your body, bring back with you that sense of peace and trust and knowing that it really is okay in this moment and in the moments to come. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So as I was thinking about this and thinking about how Jesus walked through his time here on the planet, I was reminded of his challenges and how he navigated through them. You know, when he was here walking as both human and divine, he had quite a few difficulties in his life. He had challenges as robust as any challenge that we've probably faced in his relationships, in his health, in his job. He experienced moments of anger. We're told at least one where he got upset and turned the tables in the temple. And then once that moment was through, he went right back to teaching, to sharing the word. He had moments of frustration when people just didn't seem to get what he was saying. And yet, he kept on sharing his message. He had moments of fear, we're told, in the Garden of Gethsemane that he experienced before walking through the greatest challenge that we all are called to walk through, one where we are transitioned to a new form of life. And yet, after he spent a few moments experiencing that, he continued and walked through each of the next events that showed up with a sense of peace. He didn't try and resist them. He didn't try and control them or relive them over and over again in his storyteller of a mind. He wasn't telling people over and over again what challenges he had or what experiences he had that were difficult for him. He went right back to the present moment. It's a good demonstration for all of us, especially that reliving over and over again, long when the moment has passed. And I also think that it is what he meant when he said in Matthew 18, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." The gift that children have is that innate ability, especially when they're young, to just move from moment to moment and whatever experience that moment brings, and then let them go as they move into the next moment. So the invitation for all of us this week as we prepare to embark upon this transformational journey is just to simply start observing how often what we are experiencing is a result of what's happening in that moment, and how often what we're experiencing is simply based on what our storyteller is spinning in our minds. And to know that right now, this is life, and it's okay. Life is an adventure to be lived in the moment, and to be one that embraces all the gifts of growth, the gifts of joy, the gifts of healing that each moment offers to us. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial gifts with this community. We are grateful that we live in this flow of abundance, and we bless the many channels in which we receive the good that we use to continue the work of this ministry. This is the first Sunday of the month, and we'd like to remind you then, if you are able to, if you can share any extra with our reserve fund, which is what we're going to be tapping into for our next insurance payment. And I really ask for all of your prayers to see the right carrier giving us a very reasonable price to continue to insure this beautiful property. As some of you know, it's been a challenging couple of years since we were pushed into the high-risk market in terms of what it's cost us to be able to insure this property and building. And so we're on year 3, and I just know this is the year. This is the year of completion that somebody's going to say, yes, we're willing to insure you at a reasonable rate. So whatever goes into the reserves helps us so that we can continue to have a zero balance in our line of credit. Yes. So we bless all of that, and we bless the gifts that we offer today. And I just ask you to join with me as we bestow that flow of good into everything that we receive and everything that we give. Let's bless it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God. The ushers are going to invite you to come up row by row. You can place your gift or your energy of that gift into the basket and then receive an affirmation. Beautiful, Bob. Thank you. So on the first Sunday of each month, we do a center update every week. First Sunday is for minister, second community, third transformation, and fourth we hear an update from our board. And for my minister sharing this morning, I really wanted to share a brief story about a transformational experience that I've had. So you'll get another transformational experience in a couple weeks, but you know, this is what we're here to do. And this happened at my week at the Dr. Joe Dispenza Advanced Retreat Workshop. So we did a lot of meditation, as I know I've shared with some of you, and there was one, towards the end of the week, we were really focused on how could we have a mystical experience, trying to get to that dimension that's beyond our three-dimensional world. And we'd gone through this whole meditation, and we were laying on the floor, and there's noises going on throughout this whole week as people, I was very compassionate for the people who were moaning or yelling or having some kind of healing release. But there started this trend where people started laughing. So on this, I think this was Thursday night this happened, and I'm laying there. We just did an hour-and-a-half long meditation. Now he had us lay down to really, and through my heart and my mind was drifting. Do you remember this song? And I'm just going to speak the words rather than sing them. I could get Jeff to come up. It's, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. That was my greatest desire, was to experience this universal, magnificent love that is out there in all dimensions. And as I was sort of just, bringing that into my being, somebody started laughing near me, and then it becomes kind of a contagious thing. And I could feel my sense of annoyance just rising. I'm like, I'm trying to have a mystical experience here, people. You're disturbing my ability to do that. And all of a sudden, this voice in my head, or maybe it was in my heart, said, oh, you want to know what love is? Love that. Love the people that you've been judging. Love the people who annoy you. And I mean, it was like an immediate release, burst of tears, and there's 2,000 people in this room, and I just made it my mission, that whole thing, to love every person in that room. And it transformed me forever. Anytime now I find myself in that space where I'm really wanting to know and be a part of this spiritual realm of love, you gotta love. In fact, it's interesting that we're doing what's in the way is the way. You gotta love what seems to be in your way, and that becomes the gateway through to discovering the fullness of what that love can do in your life. So it forever transformed me, and I'm very grateful for those people who were laughing, that were in my way of my mystical experience, because they became my way. Thank you. And so as we go into this day, into this week, living moment by moment in that realm of peace, we go knowing our prayer for protection. We'll do it as call and response. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well.